If you're afraid of swimming butterfly because you might hit the lane lines or someone else or the wall, imagine swimming butterfly with your eyes closed. There are many great stories about the men's 200 butterfly, starting with Leon Marchand, the new world champion, or the world record holder and the only human to swim faster than Phelps's world record, Christoph Milak. Or if we go farther back, we could talk about Mark Spitz or the albatross Michael Gross, or we could talk about the shortest medalists Tomoru Honda or Daisato. And we could talk about the Michael Phelps saga, finishing 5th at the Olympic Games when he was 15 years old, then breaking the record 1 year later, winning gold at the Olympics in 2004 and 2008, and then Chad Leclos snatching this title from his hero, only for Mr. Swimming to regain it 4 years later. But this story is the story of two swimmers who won gold in butterfly, broke world records, and made history using the same method, swimming butterfly without using their eyes. When Michael Phelps entered the water to try to win the 4th Olympic gold medal, his goggles gradually filled with water, leaving him completely blind. Almost no other swimmer would be able to win under those conditions, but Michael had already trained blindly in the pool. Michael Phelps' coach, Bob Bowman, was very strict with him. They had many fights. Once, during training, Bowman stepped on Phelps' goggles to break them. And he said, "You have to swim without seeing. You already know how many strokes you take from one side to the other. Swimming without seeing will help you feel the water better." For most of us swimmers, when goggles get foggy, it is enough reason to get uncomfortable and adjust them. Years ago, when pools didn't have many chemicals, there were more risks of infection. But it was also easier not to use goggles and simply open your eyes underwater. Seeing underwater is something humans can do, but with the invention of goggles, it is easier to see underwater, except when they fill with water and you go blind. Phelps trained with broken goggles and also with goggles painted with black Sharpie to get a better feel for the water. It's a method to sharpen your other senses and develop new skills in the water, but he also trained outside of the water, visualizing all the competitions and going through all the possible situations. So, when his goggles filled with water, he didn't panic. He had already gone through this in his training and his mind. He simply counted his strokes and felt the water. Commentators noticed that Phelps wasn't doing his turns and underwater dolphin kicks as fast and powerful as before, but he still managed to win and break his own world record. Just a month later, there was another swimmer who won the same number of individual Olympic medals as Michael Phelps, 4, but he did it in the S11 category of the Paralympic Games, and Enhamed became blind at the age of 8. He learned to swim after going blind. It's one thing to learn to swim butterfly and then swim with goggles filled with water, and it's another very different thing to learn to swim butterfly blind. In 2004, Enhamed won 2 bronze medals. He wasn't satisfied and came back 4 years later and won 4 gold medals, and he retired after 2012, winning 2 silvers and 1 bronze. After that, he decided to do a full Ironman, being the first blind person to complete it. Then he swam from Europe to Africa. He jumped out of a plane, among other things that most of us are afraid or too lazy to do, and he still holds the 100 butterfly world record in his category. In a talk that I'll leave in the description, he says he used the power of visualization to win his medals in 2008. While he had some free time, he repeated the scenario in his mind of what it would feel like to compete in Beijing in front of 17,000 people who wanted that Chinese competitor to win, and it's the same method Phelps used to win his medals. We humans are the only animals that can visualize without seeing. We have the power to create future scenarios on the screen of our minds, and we can use these mental movies to improve our current situation. But not all of us are willing or trained to use that kind of power. This year, there's another person who has the possibility of winning 4 individual gold medals at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Leon Marchand will swim the 200 butterfly on the same day as the 200 breaststroke. He won't have an easy path on either of those two events, but one of his competitive advantages is that he has the same coach as Michael Phelps, Bob Bowman, and he will also have almost 17,000 people cheering for him. To improve your swimming, we always recommend isolating the aspect you want to improve. Closing your eyes and improving your body position is a method you can try next time you go swim. If you want more ideas on how to improve, I recommend watching this video next. See you there. Swim fast.